Now imagine you've made $1,000 from $100 and are patiently waiting for the market to crash. Because you will be so afraid of losing it, I promise you that you will not reinvest the same amount. In the end, you'll wind up underestimating the role's significance. And you engage in negative psychology because depending on what you're buying, you're going to lose 10, 20, or even 50 times your initial investment whenever you buy those lows. Only the most important coins, thus it is a tremendous source of money. Noting that cryptocurrency is intrinsically cyclical, former Goldman Sachs executive Raoul stressed the significance of knowing one's investing time frame and objectives. According to Powell, crypto is very cyclical based on this everything code thesis. Bitcoin halvings, US presidential elections, and global financial patterns are all interconnected in this argument. There have been two main price cycles for Bitcoin during the last decade, bear and bull. In most people's minds, the Bitcoin halving marks the beginning of a bull market, and the carriers decide what happens in the 2 years leading up to each halving. Raoul claims that this recurrent pattern has been there ever since the 2008 financial crisis, when governments around the world started paying no interest and started a new debt maturity cycle every 3 or 4 years. The question of whether to sell during the height of the crypto market's decline to prevent heavy losses or to wait out the cycle is a common one. Investors, Powell says, should not make hasty decisions based on hype. He suggests mainly investing in the top 3 to 5 tokens by market cap and allocating 10% to altcoins with higher risk profiles, while avoiding leverage. Additionally, the overall value of the cryptocurrency market has remained relatively stable at approximately $2.5 trillion since the conclusion of February. There is some disagreement among market watchers as to whether or not the cycle has ended. From its current valuation of $2.5 trillion, Powell predicts that the cryptocurrency market will increase to $10–15 trillion by the end of this cycle and even $100 trillion by 2032. According to my everything code thesis, which states that every 4 years there is a debt refinancing cycle due to everyone setting their interest rates to zero in 2008, crypto is known to be highly cyclical. Then paid off all of the national debt in about 3 to 5 years. The result is this never-ending loop that mirrors the US presidential cycle and the Bitcoin halving cycle. These cycles are so confronting us. Additionally, crypto is the world's top-performing asset in each of the 3 years spring, summer, and fall. In comparison, macro is the best-performing asset in the spring, summer, and fall. After then, fourth grade is the hardest. What hurts individuals the most is the very worst. And the question of how to handle this is a popular one. In my opinion, the first step is to figure out what you want to accomplish. When it comes to investing, how long do you have to wait? If you're arguing that this space would go from, say, $2.5 trillion now to, say, 10 to 15 trillion at the conclusion of this cycle, depending on the size of this cycle, to, say, 100 trillion by 2032, then my broad macro thesis would be correct. Here we have the most massive macro trend in the history of wealth creation. It remains right before our eyes. Super high returns were there in the beginning, and they are there now. I hope we don't mess this up. It is our intention to record it. To avoid the misery of 75% drawdowns, many investors wonder if it is better to trade out during the big crypto decline, sell at the high, and then buy at the bottom. This needs some consideration. I will gladly add to that cycle the down cycle for individuals of you who aren't in immediate need of the funds. Anticipate a reduction of 80%. Perhaps it's shorter this time. Perhaps there is more. When it came to Solana, the drop was 97%. In the previous round, ETH fell 97%. And welcome it with open arms, since every time you purchase such lows, you will reap 10, 20, or even 50 times your investment, and that's just for large currencies. It significantly increases one's fortune. Imagine if you could earn 10 times your initial crypto spring investment. Neither summer nor fall has arrived just yet. At this point, summer is just around the corner. Following that path will undoubtedly increase your earnings if you have a long-term perspective. Invest in the sale, welcome it, and be prepared to pay cash. We may be in the midst of our final chance to invest in the market right now. Now is your last chance to get in on the action if you have the funds on hand or are patiently waiting. As we enter the banana zone, things will become wild. If we do have a bear market, your entry levels will be underwater and the project will become unfeasible. It is inappropriate for you to be from this level. Well, not by much anyhow. In the last stages, it's best to cram as much as possible. Very well. Wait until 2026 and then say, yeah, I can't believe I can get more and compound more wealth. This is for the long-term thinker among us. Prepare yourself financially for that. You should be the one to assert yourself and declare, hey, Chen, got money when everyone else is running scared. For the simple reason that no one has any cash on hand when you really need it. Given the current state of affairs, lower cash flows, a sluggish economy, and all that, it was challenging for me to secure funding. However, disregarding that, Bitcoin price activity should soon look drastically different, according to traders, despite the fact that Bitcoin bulls are currently enjoying 10% month-to-date gains. There is still a lot of mystery and heated dispute surrounding when the bull run will occur. There is continuous guesswork and prediction regarding its start, present state, and eventual termination. According to CryptoQuant's founder, the bull run has reached its midway, and if current trends continue, the bull cycle might come to a close as early as April 2025. According to Raoul, the current phase is known as crypto summer, and it usually occurs in the months of June and July. The market typically has strong bullish momentum during this period, which is referred to as the banana zone. All right, let's change gears and watch a video. Here we are, on the cusp of entering crypto summer, just changing. And it often occurs in the summer months of June and July. Then it completely loses control. There will be changes, and they will be substantial. 30–40% or more are possibilities. However, from this point on, it typically ascends into the banana zone. At that point, you must exercise caution so as not to go completely bonkers and ruin this by investing in things you shouldn't, such as buying all the coins on the market just because they're going up in value. Consider this a game with a longer time horizon. Following the large token's secular trend while dabbling in the other stuff will make you a lot of money. Furthermore, as a second thesis, I have started transferring part of my primary investment in Solana to NFTs. In my opinion, a significant portion of that $100 trillion will be kept in high-end artwork that remains within the cryptocurrency realm. These two artists are XCOPY and Beeple. I have purchased other works of art as well. That thesis will be discussed at a later date. I've been putting part of my earnings into long-term assets, but in reality, I'll take a third and put the rest into running. I like not to tinker with it too much. In all my encounters with people, basically it's because he kept his stock holdings. He simply hung on to his stock, refusing to trade it. Everyone on this list, including Bill Gates. A secular pattern in compounding over time is something you cling to. Be sure to stock up if you're able to. But hear me out, that's the big picture. Well, I hope that was helpful. Do your best to avoid timing it based on precise pricing. Consider the time involved. Whenever this year comes to a close, I love it because it's often pumptastic and you'll feel good about taking a little vacation. It will seem like a substantial sum of money. Even though it's not too early, it will be sufficient to affect your way of life. With that mindset, you can achieve your goals. Do nothing and purchase the sell-off if you truly want to compound your riches. Make good use of it. Save some money. Toss it aside. Hold on to it. Get as much money as you can by any means necessary. I wish you the best of luck anyway. I am approaching the banana zone. A great many transgressions will be remedied. By the way, make sure you don't mess this up. Typically, the end of the year marks the height of the cycles. Can that be altered? Do not forget that the previous cycle was peculiar in that it consisted of a massive run-up, a peak, a massive sell-off, another peak, little advancement, and finally, a collapse towards the year's conclusion. The stealer that concludes the main points of today's cryptocurrency news.